I wouldn't get too hung up on the word censorship. I think that it should be starting a conversation rather than ending it. The key distinction in the examples Eric was giving was that these are adjudicated instances where the state is like, what that person has said is so terrible, they owe money. It might be a further move by the state with some trepidation to say, and you must never say that again, and what you said must be, stricken from the public record. That should be done very rarely and after a lot of process. What's happening here in a right to be forgotten implemented online is exactly the opposite, and in that sense, it's very different from the examples you're coming up with. The fact, too, that it's only coming out of Google's index rather than the root thing being taken down, I would just see that as part of the paradox. If the thing is okay enough to stay up, it's not so bad that it needs to come down. It's like saying the book can stay in the library, we just have to set fire to the card catalog, like go to town, enjoy the stacks. To use an example from the 90s that you might relate to.
Would one of you
that just seems Borgesian.
I would want to let one of you address that metaphor. The audience connected with that. So I want to see what your response to it is.
I can use another...
Do you want to take it, Paul?
Oh, no.
All right, Eric Posner.
Here's another metaphor. So,
first, it has to be a direct response metaphor, or you have to directly respond to that.
Okay, so
the point they're making is it's not censorship of the source material. It's still there. You could go find it if you dig enough. That it's actually just it's actually
there. You just have to rearrange the letters.
I agree with Jonathan. I agree with Jonathan that the word censorship is not helpful here. What the right to be forgotten does is it raises the cost for strangers to find out information about you. It doesn't make it impossible. So if you turn out to be a famous, important person, become a politician, journalists, biographers can dig it out. It just makes it difficult. But that's the way things work. That's the way we secure our homes, for example. We don't make it impossible to break into our house. That would be far too expensive. We put in a lock that will deter most people. It won't deter people who are extremely interested in getting into our house. So you raise the cost without making something impossible. That's a way of putting a thumb on the scale for privacy.
I think what's interesting about this to me is I regularly hear EU officials say, look, there's just nothing much to see here. Like, this is only if you search for the person's name directly will that search result not appear. It's just a very small thing. And to me, that actually highlights the kind of moral bankruptcy of this whole thing, because they are essentially validating the notion that an individual, a dictator, a politician, a rich person, can secure the deletion of irrelevant information, whatever that means, in this one very narrow way. And believe me, I am confident that that principle will expand. There's no way that it's just going to be left limited to search engines accessible in the EU.
I think what Andrew and Jonathan are doing here is they're pretending that everybody who makes use of this right is someone where there is some public interest to know actually what this person has been doing and what it is about. But that's not the case. Most of these requests, more than 70%, have nothing to do with public interest.